Who wants to be bullied? Come on, mate.
Who's sweating the most?
Good afternoon. It is, very hot in the studio.
Linen's not all it's cracked up to be.
No deal. It is Friday the 26th of June. So, hello to all you people who are boiling hot, because it's 30 odd degrees today. It is about 130 in the studio. But you want to ask us anything, it is there. Because there's not really that much going on. But one thing I'll kick us off with is the Hayden Hackney stuff, because there's more stuff come out today, basically saying, Middlesbrough saying they haven't had an acceptable offer. Okay, because, it's, he hasn't, because he still plays for them. He'd play for them, they'd have agreed, wouldn't he? A lot of the sort of stuff coming out says they just want to go to Everton. There's even some stuff saying he was an Evertonian. I find that difficult to believe, but you never know. So what happens with this? Because we've been on the other end of this, haven't we? You know, United with Branthwaite the other year, and everyone started going, just let him go. Let him go, United, everyone but Everton fans. So what do we think is going on here?
Well, us being on the end of it before, there was no repeated message publicly that Branthwaite wanted to go, was there?
I know, but repeated message that Hackney wants to go, neither here nor there.
No, I know.
What I'm saying,
I'm just saying that the subtle differences might be part of the subtle differences. But if Borough's view, and they said, quote, they're prepared to let him run his contract down. It's up to us, anyone else, whether they believe that or not.
Yeah.
But allegedly, the gap between the two is £5 million, isn't it? Apparently, right? Let's pretend it is, right? So let's say we're prepared to pay 15 million quid, and they want 20.
Yeah.
And they're basically saying no, and we're going to keep saying no to the end of August into September, and he's our player, and that's it.
Yeah.
Why would you go to the mattresses for 5 million quid? That's going to cost you 15. So therefore, a reasonable conclusion might be, if you're the buyer, if you're Nick Hammond, is, well, they're not going to cut their nose off to spite their face, are they? And we're not going to move off our number, are we? Because this is what we think he's worth or whatever. And maybe we'll make a gesture at the right time, which offers a bit more.
Yeah.
Or as we talked about it last week, I think, or whenever it was, you create an add-on that allows them to tell everyone, a bit like Forest are doing now, up to 130 million. Yeah. A bit of City are saying there are no add-ons, but it's not.
There's a bit of sport there.
A bit of sport going on, right? So City go, they wanted 130, we've only paid 116, and they go, well, we wanted 130 and it could be 130.
Yeah.
And we've already banked 116. Happy. So we must have done that bit, I would have thought. And then you get into the, well, that's not certain. Giving us an extra £1 million when you win the Champions League doesn't really wash or whatever. Yeah. But as I talked about when we talked about Grealish, if the player makes it clear, which Hackney appears to be continually doing, he wants to leave.
Yeah.
And that's where he wants to go.
Yeah.
And he's got currently slightly over a year to go, and in a week's time he'll have slightly less than a year to go.
Yeah.
And Borough just need to decide, you know what, we are actually going to allow 15 million quid to walk out the door next summer, and we'll deal with a very disgruntled player between now and then, which doesn't seem really good, really.
Yeah.
So it's a weird one. I think both parties might think they can let it run right to deadline day.
Maybe, yeah.
So therefore, thankfully, he's not necessarily going to be one of our super duper, oh my goodness, that's just what we needed type signings, is he? Therefore, perhaps we are prepared to let it go right to the last day to get our man for the price we want to pay. Okay. And there's no suitors coming from elsewhere, is there?
Well, Crystal Palace won him, but he wants to go to Everton.
Yeah. But they could. Borough could have announced they've accepted a £20 million offer of Crystal Palace, if indeed they got one.
But they haven't, because the whoever's at Borough said we've had no offers.
That's right, well, there you go.
That have reached
what they want, yeah.
Nil Satis Yamar says, we go into the new season with the best opening 5 fixtures of any team in the league. Don't know whether that's 100% true.
That'd be off Opta, I guess.
But Opta, that does about the 4th best.
Fourth
but yeah, it's favourable.
But it was over 10, the first 4th of whatever.
After that, there's an extended 1 month break. How many points does Moyes need to get to justify keeping his job?
David Moyes has a career average, I think. I'm going to get shot down because someone watching will look it up. Of give or take, quite close to 1.5 points a game. Yeah. So, an average start for David Moyes historically would be 7 or 8 points, wouldn't it, from those games? Is it 5 games he's talking about, isn't it? So yeah, 7 or 8 points would be an average start.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Yeah,
I think I agree. Tiger Blue says, do you think there's any mileage in the argument that Everton had not broken PSR when Burnley got relegated in the May, so cannot be held responsible for something that hadn't happened yet?
That's why, well, there is an argument there, and Everton put that argument in the commission thing, and the judge swept it away.
Classic judge. Classic judge behaviour.
Yeah, classic hanging judge behaviour, yeah. In the sense that he allowed it to be established that if you've breached a 3-year rule, if you like, the mere fact that that doesn't totally finish until after a particular event has happened, you've already had the advantage.
Right, yeah.
And then they concluded that advantage was worth at least the points difference between us and them. I'm sure Everton could and perhaps should and will and all those good things say, well, let's just accept that we had an advantage worth X points over 3 years. You're deciding all the advantage happened at the end. Yeah. And the argument there is the accumulation of your persistent breach of the rules has give you benefit at the last minute.
Yes.
Because otherwise, but lots of legal argument would say you can't have caused something which happened before what you did happened. And that's one of the arguments that we'll try and present better next time round.
Yeah, fair play.
And it's quite important because the other one they've got, which is not dissimilar, is we don't believe they had any loss either.
No.
Because I'm guessing, and I haven't looked, but I could, I'm guessing their financial performance was better when they got relegated than it was when they were in the Premier League. Presumably because they sold a load of players and made some money. So if you're trying to argue a financial loss, but your numbers are better, it's quite curious. So that'll be one of the other things that I guess we'll argue about. I think they might settle eventually after court. Because it's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
And my own view is the risk might be on their side greater than on ours. If we've come to terms with 35, 40 million of cost, then arguing about it with the perception it can only go down is good for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
We think, well, we've come to terms with the worst case scenario. Everything else is better. And of our view of the worst case scenario is mirrored by it's the best case scenario for them. Any appeal can only get worse for Burnley. It can stay the same. The appeal might agree with everything the other fella said and it stays the same. But maybe, just maybe, it'll get worse. And so then the trick is how much worse than 35-ish would it be? And then both parties try and come up with a settlement.
Interesting, isn't it?
I'd love us just say, no, we've come to terms with it. It's not my money, of course, but we've come to terms with it. I want to play binary, 35 or nothing sort of thing. That's not how pragmatic business people work.
No.
So I wouldn't do it as a business person.
Dave, I do have other tops than Under Armour. I have New Balance, Trailberg, Asics.
But they pay you most, don't they?
Under Armour pay me the most, yeah. And all have been worn, Monterex, all have been worn on this show regularly. In fact. So, just so you know, yes.
Why?
I don't know. Because he said, I only remember you wearing Under Armour. Well, go back through the week, because I think I had Trailberg on a Monday. I think I had New Balance on. Yeah, I don't know, mate. Whatever is there, and I think that'll be comfortable. It goes on. So there you go. Pause says Alan Myers said on a public tweet yesterday in response to a question he doesn't think Everton will spend much money. Is that worrying?
Okay. Didn't know he'd said it.
Yeah, it's not worrying to me because Alan doesn't know what the finances are. So
it's fair. No, he's entitled to his opinion.
But he's entitled to his opinion. So there you go. So no, I'm not. Doesn't worry me. Does it worry you, John?
What, that Alan thinks we won't spend much money? No.
Yeah. Gavin Cunningham says selling Tim Irabun and then bringing Hackney in is a masterstroke. Okay. Kieran says, would you rather Everton won the Premier League or the Champions League?
Me? Champions League.
I'd rather win the Premier League, to be honest.
Well, in my fantasy world, we got in the Champions League by winning the Premier League. So.
Corin says, Baz and John, do you think the owners will back Everton in the transfer window? And do you think we'll sign the right players and have a better team?
I'm back to the 16th of June. I can't see tweets from Alan saying that. But anyway, I don't see why the owners would back off backing the club now when they've spent a year backing it, pouring money in and stuff. And the nature of the beast is they could have done it already for all we know. And we wouldn't, I mean, financially, and we wouldn't know, would we, until the accounts come out and we see it, or until some announcement goes that they've printed some more shares and injected more capital, a bit like Spurs owners are doing. Right. Yeah. The other question's hard. Until I see the evidence, I have to conclude with past performance, which is we're often not the best at doing these things. And one of the things that concerns people is we actually go quite deep into the window before we do things. So my enthusiasm and optimism for a great window would be heightened by early business. Particularly if even if it was something trivial like, just confirm that role's permanent. Just confirm that Grealish is coming back. Just confirm the manager's had his contract adjusted or whatever. All the things we think perhaps have already been done, but they haven't told us. But maybe, just maybe, that will generate interest. And we want our new sponsors, Baz, to get the upside of that publicity, not the old sponsors.
Yeah.
And that'll all kick off, beginning of July, won't it? New shirts and new sponsors and all the things that flows from that. Yeah. And I hope the shirts look lovely.
Okay. Gavin Cunningham says 130 million for Elliot Anderson is a joke. Arsenal have just offered 55 million for Bruno Guimaraes.
I saw that, yeah. I saw that.
About 5 times the player.
A verbal offer, and it was dismissed.
Well, it will be, won't it?
Yeah. There was Tonali for 80 and Guimaraes for 60.
Yeah.
And there's a gap there somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. Mad. I haven't seen the Papa Guy links, to be honest, mate. He was on our list a few years ago, wasn't he? Papa Guy. No Primark tops, mate. Don't expect any marquee signings incoming, says John Turnley. We don't need thingy, do we?
What would qualify?
Marquee, yeah.
What would qualify as one? Spending over 50 million on a player.
Breaking your transfer records, probably.
What's our transfer record at the moment?
Still Gilfie, isn't it? For like 45 million.
50-ish.
We haven't paid 50 for anyone.
No.
Even the Richarlison's only 40.
I know.
The song says 50 because Watford were trying to blag everyone that it was 50.
Well, that's what people do.
34 up to 40.
Yeah.
They went 50 to...
So 50 would be a new record, do you think? So that would be the marquee signing.
Yeah. But
I suppose it's not beyond the bounds of possibility. We could end up having to pay 50 for a player. Certainly some of the players you would like them to sign might cost that to get the deal done. Let's see.
Yeah.
But let's just make the starting 11 stronger.
Phil Evans says, Baz, what's your most typical Everton story from your time inside the club? There's loads.
What's a typical one? So it's something amusing that happened more than once?
Everton, that. You know what I mean? I think he means, as if...
Typical one from you must be people coming up to the window and... saying, can I have 25 Derby tickets, please?
I think he maybe normally players. I think he means ones that are, we'd be bothered about. Probably having Robbie Keane up on Merseyside twice when he was at Tottenham and we didn't get it done.
Wow.
My camera's just in like slow motion, Ped, just so you know.
No, it's okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one when we needed them that was a bit of a disappointing one. Rome and Riquelme being submitted on our European list only for his club to, at the last 2 minutes, decide they weren't selling them.
Oh.
So that didn't go through rather. But Everton had to submit or have the list, the sort of,
before
what do they call it?
Finalised.
Yeah, they have to have like a draft list that they show UEFA when it's on deadline day to go, look, these are the players we've got.
Oh, I see.
This is who we're looking to register, blah, 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 blah. And they just went at the last seconds. So probably, I mean, there's loads of them kind of things, but the Keane one was probably a frustrating one. Milan Barros as well. And he'd agreed to join Everton from Liverpool. And then
bottled it.
Agent come back with another
ask.
This, and I think Villa ended up paying it and we didn't.
Yeah. It's life, man.
But moments that we had players really that were ready to go and they never quite went through. It's probably like where you'd look and go. I've said this before, but I remember being in work and going out into the family enclosure to get a drink and stuff, and Sean Davis was there. So we'd come up from Fulham to have a medical, and he was on the pitch having imaginary shots at the Gladys Street, which was really weird to see. It's like a pair of jeans and this like red and white striped shirt, like thick pin, a bit like yours, but like red. And he was just having these imaginary shots at the street end, which was weird. And I was like, no. And then it fell through, I think his knee problem, it fell through. And he carried on playing for years.
Yeah.
So sort of those kind of things, and you see it playing, you're like, he'll help us, because he was really good at that time, Davis. And probably them kind of things really are the frustration ones. Brian said the mad Brazilian, that was Mully, money. Turned up in his red jacket. I was like, what do you mean? It's not 30 grand a week after tax. Ravanelli. There when Ravanelli came with 46 people to the park and legged it round to see him. Nearly wanted him because he was the good goal scorer, wasn't he? And it was the scariest looking, like Sicilian gangsters. They looked like if they were on a Netflix like series or something, you'd be like, look at them. Where if they got them from? Well, that's what they were like. And he come and they all had the similar suit, and Ravanelli the same with the shades and the pocket and all that. Yeah. That was mad. That was absolutely mad. Dave Murray said, what about Sean Davis? Yeah, exactly. Someone said Dewey would be a marquee signing. He would. James Graham says being offered Haaland and not taking him. He was 16. I mean, personally, I'd have still took him, obviously, but it wasn't as if like he was 18 and he'd scored 100 goals and we were like, nah, I'm not having him.
Wasn't he on a tour of every club known to man at the same time?
No, but he'd agreed to join Everton.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we wouldn't pay what they wanted at that time for a kid, for an unproven. I mean, which is really weird because we did pay some money for kids that done nothing.
I never heard of him again. Yeah.
Paid, like, no disrespect to these players, by the way, but like Josh Bowler, we paid $3.5 million to QPR. We paid $4 million for Dennis Adeniran to Fulham. Never, not playing in our first team, was he? Neither of them. And they've both gone on to have decent careers in the lower leagues. But we paid money for those players. And yet we had a big 6'5" Norwegian. And we only had to pay whatever it was, $1.5 million or something, and we wouldn't pay it. It's just weird, isn't it, when you think about it?
Josh is at Blackpool.
Is he? He's been there before, though, hasn't he? Sure, he was at Hull. He was at Hull for years, wasn't
Queen's
he?
Park Rangers.
Yeah.
Everton.
Yeah.
Didn't play. Hull City, he was on loan while he was with us.
Yeah.
Then he went to Blackpool.
Yeah.
Played 50 games for them.
Yeah.
Then he went to Forest, where he didn't play at all. But they loaned him out to Olympiacos.
Yeah.
Right? And then they loaned him out again to Blackpool. And then loaned him out again to Cardiff, then to Preston, then to Luton. And now he's popped up back at Blackpool again. How old do you think he is? Oh, it's too easy for you, this, but have a bash, go on.
Being my Lunsworth was around 27, 28.
Yeah, 27, yeah. So he's had about 10 clubs.
Yeah. But he's made the career out of it.
Well, that's what I mean. And some of those had a decent, it looks a bit a decent deal at Forest and never really played for them, but still got paid, didn't he? So,
yeah. Al 14A LO2 maybe says, good afternoon, gents. Which international player once on Everton's books never played a game for us? Well, there's been a few, but are you talking about Pat Jennings, who was on the bench for us in the 86 Cup final? Could be talking about loads of international players that never really played a game for us, couldn't you?
If I was, you forced a name at me, I'd just Pat Jennings.
Big Pat.
That would be the only one I'd come up with.
Massive hands, Pat.
Yeah.
Elliot, I said the other day, didn't I? I'm past even being excited by what I hear, because they've got to walk through the door and hold a shirt up. So I could say to you, yeah, there's the ones they're looking at are really good, hopeful. That's what we want to do, but it doesn't actually mean anything, does it? It doesn't mean anything till you get them into the ground. They've got the Everton top on, and we're introducing a new player. So to put it this way, I know, and listen, I will sometimes have a little moan about the recruitments that we've done, and I think we're all justified too. I'm not digging anyone out with this new team. I'm just saying
generally,
but they don't go into this window looking for crap players. They all want to do their best job the same way as no player goes onto the pitch wanting to be rubbish.
No,
do they? So that recruitment team will always be looking to get the best players possible. And Everton, whether it be Angus Kinnear or Hammond or whoever, will be speaking to some of these representatives of these exciting players that we would love to have in our team, because it would take us up a couple of notches. And Everton are speaking to representatives of some of those players who are exciting. But it's one thing of going, we're talking to him, we've got a good chance of getting it, and him actually coming, isn't it? There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on in between.
Doesn't matter what industry it is, if you're selling something or buying it, depending on how you want to choose it, but we're selling our football club, aren't we, to footballers and their agents and their families indirectly and all those sorts of things. But closing a deal is the hardest bit. Finding the good players isn't the hardest bit. It's getting them to come here is the hardest bit. Now, the interesting thing is you can speak to a whole, perhaps even now, Baz, where there's so many people at quite senior positions in the club who are not Evertonians. They're very good at what they do, and TFG from Angus down, I suppose, have gone out and got them, right? Yeah. But I would imagine to a man, every one of them has to some degree caught the once heaven has touched you.
Okay.
They literally go native. What a club this is, blah, blah, blah. And the stadium doesn't do any harm and so on. It's that we need to get them in the building. Get these players, off looking at league tables, off at looking at how big the other shower are and all that, and say, just come and see, what a fab time you are, I'd love to see the show reel of Everton as a club, wouldn't you? Or Everton as a fan base.
Yeah.
Maybe we should create one, and just tag every player we'd like to sign. Here, lad, watch this.
Look at this, Steve B says, Emmanuel Petit saying that England will lose the World Cup is the biggest joke of the week. Have you put saying Pickford? Do you mean Pickford will lose England the World Cup? It's saying if he was that good, he'd be at a big club.
Oh God, that's
it's
so
such
lazy.
a boring argument. I thought better of him.
Yeah.
I haven't seen what he said. I haven't seen where he said it. I will be messaging Adam Partington, who does stuff with him, to say knock his head against something.
Are there any English goalkeepers, quote, at a big club, unquote?
James Trafford, but he's not ready.
That's right.
He's not even... City don't think he's ready for their team.
That's right.
So he definitely ain't ready for England.
You know what I mean? So,
Henderson's at a tiny club, albeit a like Palace, but Pope's finished. Ramsdale's finished.
Ramsdale's been gone for youngs, hasn't he?
So I don't know who else.
Yeah.
Sam Johnston was at Wolves, who are in playing League One. Playing Championship. Anyone else? No one of any note. Yeah. So they just all need to pipe now.
They do.
You know what I mean? Look at Manuel Neuer last night.
Oh, God, he was awful.
You know, he was a great goalie, but he cost Germany the game last night.
Yeah,
So it was good
definitely.
to see on, having a go with him. So
It's just like someone getting paid to comment and do their own work.
Paul Catzel says, can we play that thing again? It was lovely watching Everton just score goals with the mountains behind. Yeah, amazing. 22-0. Me and Zach watched that again the other week, just the goals last week. The 22 goals with Boss. Loved it. Everton Vikings says, keeping it transfer business, what is your top 3 nearly men that we looked like we were set to sign but missed out on? Mine is Manuel Fernandes, Davis and Muller. Manny Fernandes was a real kick in the bollocks because he'd been brilliant, hadn't he?
Yeah. We'd seen what we could have had.
Yeah, here's what you could have won.
Yeah.
I still maintain Robbie Keane would have been good for Everton. I do. I know we went to Liverpool and it didn't really work out, but he was really good for Spurs. I think he'd have been brilliant for Everton. I'm going to say him. There's been loads, hasn't it? There's been loads where you look and go, looks like we might get him. Go back to that when we qualified for the Champions League, and Scott Parker was doing really well at that time, and I think he would have been good for Everton. And Newcastle just offered him quite a bit more than us, so we didn't get him. I think he'd have been a good player at the time for us. It's often what you need at the time, isn't it? And you look like you're getting them, and it doesn't. Luis Diaz would have been fantastic if that tip Benitez wouldn't have pulled the plug on it. Diaz would have been great for us for a couple of years, and then he'd have gone off elsewhere because he would have been too good. Yeah. But we'd have had the money. Denzel Dumfries.
Oh, God,
we're still looking for a bloody right back now.
All these years later, yeah.
So them ones.
That's the same divvy, wasn't it?
Same divvy. Him and Livramento. We had the parent.
Yeah.
We were buying 2 right backs. It's a challenge.
Both of them currently playing in the World Cup.
And he think,
Sorry about the other fellows, didn't you?
Yeah, but he was there, wasn't he? Mendoza, the make believe. Toffee says, any clues to the signing that was supposed to? No. Kev Maloney says, give Middlesbrough Braden Graham on loan to bridge the difference. They've got to want him though, haven't they? And they've got to think they're going to play him.
Yeah.
Baz and John, a bacon sandwich or a sausage sandwich? And if so, what sauce, if any?
Sausage brown.
Yeah, I'd probably out the 2 go with a sausage. It'd have to be a chili sausage. It can't just be a normal sausage.
I'm cool with normal sausage.
I'm not a big cook breakfast person. So I don't even really like sausages. They're all right.
Well, I went in Stanley's Cafe earlier on and I had my sausage back with brown sauce on it and a nice mug of tea.
I'm just saying, it's to me, so that really, I look and go,
yeah.
Take it all, one of them. But if I was going to have to choose, it would be a sausage one, and it would probably have, it would have brown sauce on. Wouldn't have red sauce. That's just weird. Nate says, have you seen the links with Papa Guy? We replaced Guy with Guy. Now are we replacing Guy with Guy? Possibly.
He's a good guy, though, isn't he?
He's a good guy. Kev Maloney says, could you make the argument that getting a points deduction and financial fine for the same crime is double jeopardy, and therefore we get our points back, and therefore we start the season on 8+ points? Or +8 points?
It's not happening.
We should, though. Alan Myers said in response to someone, I don't think we have a lot to spend. Unless
I never looked at replies just about him messaging. Yeah.
But with all the love in the world to Alan, he gets more wrong than he gets right in that regard. Lovely guy, love him back as a PR guy, but no one should pay much attention to his transfer stuff. Yeah, listen, Alan's just an opinion, isn't he? Just an opinion. So David Savage says, why do people make out like owners don't care? They are successful business people and wouldn't benefit from them running us badly. Success on the pitch equals more money for them. Do you subscribe to that, John?
Many people invest in their own business. FG are no different, but they'll expect a return. And I think the dangers around footballers, right? Sorry, inevitably you then end up talking about the manager, don't you? You know, if you are deliberately keeping yourself distant because you realise it's not been run well as a business in the recent past, so the first thing we are going to do is run it well as a business, then questions get asked when they make the investment and it doesn't realise the benefit. But yeah, the basic premise stands true. You wouldn't just buy a house and then let it go to rack and ruin, would you?
No. Ruse, no, I didn't catch the Australia game. It was just a bit too late. Apparently, we're linked with Lucas Hetherington, the left back. He looked really good on the ball, good position. He's been linked with Barca and Liverpool. I did see Hetherington. Yeah, I've seen him. Blue Keeley says C. Seaman and Shilton have both defended Pickford recently. Shilton said Pickford is England's best keeper since him. He's right.
Who was it who did it? And it was on X or something? Might have been Ben Foster. He was asked to do the top 5 England goalkeepers of all time, and they had Pickford as number 1.
Did he?
Yeah.
Fair play.
So maybe those others got asked because they were in. Seaman was defo.
Joe Hart was here. Joe Hart
was in it as well.
Defending him. He was saying Pickford's brilliant.
Yeah.
So
goalies know.
Max says Riquelme nearly signed for us that many times. I class him as an Everton player. Probably more of an Everton legend than Royston Trent.
Yeah.
Steve P says Haaland had just scored 12 goals in one game for the Norway youth team. Steve P says, didn't we pay 5 for Everton here? And it was 4. Blue Keeley, which you think was our best transfer window. One that is difficult to beat will be the Lukaku, Barry and McCarthy transfer window, won't it?
Yeah.
Because all 3 were fantastic players for us, so it's probably the best.
Yeah.
Jonathan Ricketts says Fatabu going to West Ham for less than 15 million. Yeah, well, if I was West Ham, I'd be all over him. Kev Maloney says I like Jordan Bosch from Australia. If you
Would
want
you be
to
all over him if you were Everton?
100%. If I hadn't signed up now.
If I was West Ham, yeah.
But Everton probably don't know who he is. Nick says, over your time at Toffee TV, what game have you watched and gone, I really don't want to come in and talk about this for the week until the next game? There's been bloody loads, mate.
I'll put my feet up and you can just...
There's been loads. There literally has been. There's too many of them to say. You know, derby matches we've lost.
You talked earlier this week about one that was only a couple... Well,
no, Sunderland was a bad one.
That's what I was going to say. The last home game.
Bournemouth last year.
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk about any Everton game when Dyche was the manager.
No, it was horrible. Yeah. He's still unemployed, isn't he? Yeah. That's surprising.
There's been quite a lot, mate. There's been too many.
Yeah, it's hard work.
The derby, the 4-0, Head's famous rant derby. Things like that, you know, there's been loads.
Yeah.
There's been loads. And says, to those still optimistic about another transfer window, about our transfer window, where'd you get the optimism? We're about to wrap up another June with 0 signings, yet it's supposed to be different this go around. But who said it was supposed to be different this time around? Just
indirectly, the club have, by saying we've learnt from last summer.
But if they get everybody in before August the 22nd, they will have learned from last summer.
Oh, I agree.
Won't they? So,
mate, I agree. I mean, we have to remember...
And that's me. You know that I'm a bit frustrated. But I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, we can all be frustrated, can't we?
Thing,
you know, and perhaps about the same thing in a different way or different things in the same way and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But ultimately, you can't just say, oh, Baz is on our list. He'll sign the day the window opens. Because you just used an example of when you work for the club. A guy was signed, sealed and delivered. We'd send paperwork off to UEFA and then he changed his mind. By the way...
Well, the club changed their mind, but yeah.
You know what I mean. By the way, you dodged where was the bloke who was supposed to sign last week? He changed his bloody mind. That's what happened to the bloke last week.
Well, other people come in with more money.
Of course they do. And people are just going to make decisions about money because, let's be honest...
Yeah,
all the cliches about it's a short career and all those sorts of things. You know, and often how much you're prepared to pay, be it transfer fees or wages or both, is interpreted as how much you want me.
Yeah.
You know, and we failed that test with Rom, didn't we? Because we could have reacted differently for Rom and showed him that we were on the same page. And in the end, you know, he left and blah, blah, blah. But yes, there's things you can do to make sure we don't get frustrated, right? As much as we do. But some people always get frustrated.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Always.
Toffee Blue says you think there's a rift between Moyes and the recruitment team.
I would say he's part of it, the recruitment team. And he gets involved quite late in the day, doesn't he? Don't know. What about you? Rift is a big word, isn't it? So.
I don't think there's... Barry Williams.
Font size.
I do miss the fella who sat behind me at Goodison. And he should have been sat behind me, but he couldn't because that's a wall. But he could have been sat by me with the wall. Yeah, I do. Why do you miss the fella who sat in front of you at Goodison? Toffee, yeah, BT Ellis, it's lovely. It's cold. I mean, it's getting warmer by the second, but it was cold when it started. Elliot says, what do you reckon on Balogun? Baz, I really like him. I don't know. Is the real answer, mate. I'm unsure on him, which doesn't mean he's not good or he is good. You know what? I'm just unsure on him, and they want like 45 million. Not sure at all. Nakamura, yeah, he was on one of my who Everton should sign probably about 3 years ago. 4 years, it might have even been when he was at Lask in Austria, and he was brilliant last night. He was brilliant again, but Everton don't look at these kind of players. Otherwise, we'd never be finishing mid to low table.
Be decisive in your decision making and then own it.
Yeah. Martin, it was well, I don't know because we had a couple of run-ins with him, but he was never around really. He'd just turn up with all the fanfare on a match day. I always said he should have been life president. He should have been like your mates a day on a match day. He should never have been anywhere near running it, making any decisions, but he should have been like your cheerleader on a match day because no one would have sold the club as good as him in his theatrical way. But someone's got a train set and they enjoy it. It's hard to get it off them, and that was him. And the people, his biggest weakness, very much like the fella after him, was trusting people who were there. Should have chased, like Denise Barrett should have been nowhere near running our football club. Elston should have been nowhere near running our football club, in my opinion.
The only thing that those that, well, there's only two really, and Colin doesn't count. The only thing Baxendale did was make Elston look better.
Yeah, which was almost impossible.
Yeah.
Yes, Elliot, I am very aware. In fact, we discussed it yesterday. Philip Cameron says Dyche is becoming a TikTok personality now. Really? He'll be on Traitors or I'm a Celebrity before he gets another football job. Fair play to him. He'd probably be good on them as well. So fair play. Chef's Life says, where and how far do you think our scouting radar goes? Nottingham. I'm sure it's everywhere. It's everywhere, but it's convincing everybody that, and yourself, that those players who are gambles, if you like, are worth spending the money on. They bought a couple last season and people's heads have fell off over them. Mm-hmm. Where at other clubs, they'd have just... Dibbling would have gone to Brighton and played what he did. Brighton fans would just be like, yeah, he'll be good this year. Our fans have got pitchforks and everything out. Asnu. That's what loads of clubs do. Brighton especially.
Yeah.
So Everton probably don't want to buy players like this. You know, Tierno Barry, people would be saying should buy him. If he'd been at Brighton and got 8 goals, he's all right. First season, go and get him. He'd be good for us. Some of our fans don't want that. They want you to come in from nowhere and be amazing. But then Everton aren't getting those kind of players. So, and we're never gambling on those
So
players.
into the league from nowhere and was amazing.
Well, Ryan's done really well. I personally, I'm not that bothered by him, but he's done well, hasn't he? 5 and 13. He's done, he's a bit of an anomaly, I suppose.
Okay.
But other players have done really good. Casado was, we wouldn't offer 4.5, we offered 4. Brighton paid 4.5, got him. But what they did really well was they then put him on loan for 5 months. We wouldn't have done that.
That's right.
A, our fans wouldn't have accepted it, some of them. And B, we probably didn't have the money to go, yeah, we'll have you, but we'll leave you on loan or we'll put you somewhere else. So we are caught between, what we're trying to do in terms of development. We all want the player that no one really knows about who comes in as amazing. We don't ever really want to give anyone time. But also I understand that from the fans as well, though, because we want to see actual progress, like real tangible progress. We want players to come in and make a difference. It's great if you Everton got to a stage where you were like, they're definitely in the race for Europe. Whether they get there, they don't get there, the one place below it kind of thing, but they're definitely in that race for Europe. The way you look now, when you'd be like Liverpool and City and they're all in the race, Champions League battle, aren't they? And Villa are in there now.
Before the season started, yeah.
Yeah. Would anyone really put Everton in the race for Europe for next season?
Me.
Take your Everton glasses off, would you? You go, they might be, but then again, they could easily be in the race for 15th. I don't think that. I think they will
the
be.
Teams from 7th to 15th.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's changed a little bit, but you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, yeah.
And I think Evertonians and Everton as a club, we need to get to a place where you're almost guaranteed to be in that mix. I'm not saying you're always going to get there. And then you can go and grab a couple of these lads who are, they might sit on the bench and play 7 games next season, or they're not. We've bought them and they're going back on loan. And I just don't think, we haven't been in a place where we've had the money to do that either, have we? Because everything was, there was no room.
But what you can't do, I don't think.
It is tricky.
Yeah, what you can't do is put a new team together. Sorry, I mean the off-field team, because you've got new owners. Recognise the way you were doing it before was wrong.
Yeah.
Spending too much money on average players or post-prime or even, whatever, on too long contracts, which takes time to unravel, blah. Look at your competitors, whoever you think they are. Let's just pick Tottenham as an example. And you go, but they've got a turnover 3 times ours. They're always going to have more buying power. Yeah. They've got a better base because they've been building over a number of years, blah. Well, we have to do something different then. Okay, we're going to go down this other route of the 3 Bs, where we're going to buy to a profile, buy to statistics, data. We're going to have a sprinkling of experienced players so that we're not, the back door's not left open type of thing. Yeah. And we're going to go for it. And your summation of that a few moments ago was, but our fans then expect all things to happen instantaneously, right?
And I'm not saying they're wrong for that. I'm just saying that's where we are right now. Why should we wait?
That's right.
That's what the thing is.
So if that turns into...
And that isn't all fans, obviously.
Of course, right. But if that then you do that, you have the season that you have, and you go, you know what you did, whether you think, Barry or Asnu or Dibbling hit the street running, blah, blah, blah. Let's pretend they're all losses. They're probably not. 2 of them are losses. One's an okay. But you had 2 others, in KDH and Grealish, and to a lesser extent Roll, who you might say were successes, right? Maybe Roll's in the middle, right? So on a balance sheet, you're doing all right. Here you go. 2 that worked, 2 that haven't worked properly yet, and 2 that are on the journey. So let's do that again then. Right? That approach. But if what you actually do is go, whoa, we got all that noise, we're not happy. Ooh, well, we've learned from that. We're going to go now for Premier League experience. You're going back to that place you come from. You've had the pain of the first season of transformation, and you're resetting back to what you were before. That is madness.
We'll have a look.
Madness.
Of course we'll have a look.
I'd love to Arteta saying that, utter madness.
We're just trying to get, I think we all, I said it the other day, didn't I? We all want the same thing, but I think we're just trying to get to a position where we know we're a decent side, and then it's building on top of that. Yeah. And to do that, we need first team players, don't we? And I think people won't really want to see gambles. They might do towards the end of the window, but they want to see the areas that are clear and the obvious are right back. You know, quite clearly Everton want 2 central midfield players this summer.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to let Irabunum go. They're willing to let Alcaraz go. They're willing to let, you know, McNeil go anyway. And things like that. They want 2 in it. Idrissa Gana looks highly unlikely he's coming back, as we've said on this channel.
We'll see if Mrs. next week unpacking in Paris.
Well, maybe, or unpacking in Formby, you never know.
Yeah.
So quite clearly Everton want to rebuild that bit of the team.
Sure.
So they're trying to do the right thing. But I think people would be really enthused if we got a right back in. I think we probably need 2. But if we got a right back and Roll was sort of trained as the backup, O'Brien went into I think people would go, okay, you see what we're trying to do there. I know we all want an attacking left back, but
sure,
let's see. The midfield, then I want another winger. You know, I want another centre forward. I'd like George to be signed, you know, and then you piece the squad together like that. I think people will be enthused. But right now, people will think, and there's no reason why they should think different, other than me saying, I know they're determined to get a right back this summer.
Sure.
We went for Kenny Tete day 1 last year. In fact, the window wasn't even open, and we tried to sign him. And then we didn't go for another right back till the last 3 hours of deadline day. And it's like, hang on, you started here.
You've highlighted what your priority is.
And you went back at it before the window shut. So I think people will always look at that and go, okay, well, they'll get it in January then.
Baz, I was busy on Dibbling.
No, but it's mad, isn't it? You can be busy on Dibbling at the end of July, but you went for Kenny Tete on the 10th of June. So why didn't you go for another one on the 20th?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
I know you're I'm saying. So that's why I think people will look and go, well, hang on. So then you'd get him in January, and we didn't. Like, you'll get him. And that's why people will think, will look and go, nothing's changed. Even though they're trying to do it. So I think if they can grab a right back through the door, a good one, or one that we go, well, we know he's our first choice right back. And then you piece onto that, I think people's confidence will grow a little bit. But it is difficult because we've got money, not as much as other teams, of course, because just the way it is. We need first team players. We need players who make the manager look and go, I said it yesterday, didn't I, or whatever. Actually, I've got 16 players who I trust, or 15 players, not 12, you know. Because then you get what you got at the end of the season. You get what you got at Tottenham, where you're looking in front of you and there's players who can't run because they've been driven into the ground, or your 2 centre-backs are just all over the place because they're mentally tired, or whatever it is. Your midfield stops being as competitive as it has because they're just knackered, whereas he's looking and going, no, you're playing. Because we all want, I've said it before, we want Ed's job when he sits there on a Friday picking Everton's team to be like, oh, could be this or this, but with genuine, it could be this or this. No, you know, the manager's like, or whatever. So
you see,
it is difficult. Like at this moment,
doing the same thing over and over again, which is fundamentally reacting to external forces. And I don't mean the club buys players based on fans whinging sort of thing. We'll just call them external forces. Yeah. Then you don't do that if you actually believe your own plan. You know, if somebody at the club was to say to you or me or whoever, right, you know what, I know people are frustrated, these things, some of it gets played out in public because we have no control of what the selling club says and all those sorts of things, but we think we've got a good plan. Stick to it then, right? Stick to it.
And they probably are. There's no evidence they're not sticking to it, is there?
Yeah, because there's no evidence of anything, right? But in that plan isn't just, that's our first choice right back, that's our second choice right back, that's our third choice. That's fine. That's kind of the easy bit, right? It's, if we haven't nailed the first one by this date, we're going to get the second.
Well, what if you can get the first one, but it'll take you 8 weeks, 9 weeks?
Well,
you can get them on the 24th of August.
Well, if you know that, then you're not moving on, are you?
No, well, that's what I'm saying.
But you also know a player can go for it, do this, that, and the other. So I used to say, I'll say this a lot. Selling, if we call it that, the art of selling is just that. It's an art. Up to a point, it's scientific, but then it stands and falls on your ability to nudge.
Yeah.
Right? So therefore, the guy who always speaks to the agent or always speaks to the player and you mark, you know, and all that, you get a feeling for this is going to happen, or you know what, it's not. Anyone who's been in that kind of role, you know way before your bosses know, that something they want you to achieve isn't going to happen. And that's where you get my soundbite of, if you're going to fail quickly. Because that jam tomorrow thing of, I don't want to qualify out of that deal because I'll be really annoyed if I could have done it, you know. Be decisive, stand by your decision making. You can only make the right decision at the right time, and off you go. And it must have been a priority to get stuff done by a certain date, because that's one of the things the manager rightly complained about last summer, wasn't it? He expected...
They might not be at that date yet, though, might they?
No, that's what I mean. And therefore, if they've planned the dive and the plan, and we just don't know what it is, we'll see it when the outcomes happen, won't we? And therefore, don't fret about it too much.
Yeah. I know, but people will, because people want positivity. People want positivity, don't they? Not just positivity for the positivity's sake, but they want to feel a little bit like, okay, all right, we are sort of moving forward. And I understand, and I do have a touch of sympathy with the club as well, because they're following a plan. You know, and they've got a plan. They're trying to work through the plan, whatever that is, whether we think it's a great plan or we think it's whatever. They're trying to work through that, don't we? Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. But the flip side of that is we're on the other side of it, and we're frustrated. We have no say in it, do we? No. Year after year, we have no say in anything that goes on. We shouldn't have,
should we?
No, but it's still... we're far more committed to our club than anybody who's driving the plan.
So here's the thing.
And we're the least, we can affect it the least.
Absolutely.
So people will be wound up and frustrated.
Well, and here's the thing then, right? So when you're producing your plan, right? Me and you are inside the club now, right? And we're doing our plan, and we're setting timetables, we're setting priorities, we know how much money we've got to spend, and we're chugging along minding our own business, we have to consider what we're doing, the impact it has on other stakeholders. One of which is clearly the manager. You know, if you say to a manager, just as he's about to go off on holiday, we're going to get you your right back and he's going to sign before the end of June, comes back from holiday and goes, where is he? You know, so that's where you get into all the consultant inform loops. You've got to make sure people know what's going on. As part of that comms, there's got to be what are you telling the outside stakeholders? And if you know your fans are worriers, don't go out and say, oh, Baz is signing next Tuesday, and then have to deal with the fact that he doesn't. But if you're good at your job, it's part of your job to be able to give insight that dampens down the frustrations as best you can and all those sorts of things. Yeah. And it's funny that most football clubs, one of the ways of dealing with, imagine the season ticket renewal window closed it the week before the season started. All the behaviours of all the football clubs would be different. Because they're thinking, we haven't bought anyone, no one's going to buy a season ticket, you know what I mean? So somehow you have to create internal pressures that time is important, chronology is important, you know, priorities are important.
Tom Newton says, am I right in saying we'd have had Douay and Truffert as our left-backs now, as our full-backs now, if it wasn't for the fella in charge? Heard we had deals in place for both, but didn't push the button. The deal was in place when Deitch was still a manager for Truffert, and he didn't want him, said he wasn't good enough. And by the time it was reviewed again by Moyes, he'd agreed to go to Bournemouth. So there was nothing Everton could do with that one. Douay, Everton have been watching him for a while. Strasbourg didn't want to let him out. And now, or Blue Co, or whatever they're called, the ones who own it. So I think that one has been embellished a little bit, Tom. But given that I'm not in the room with David Moyes, I don't know. But what I was told from quite a good, my intel was very good, was that it was Strasbourg who went keen on selling them in January. They were still in Europe and everything. But a note Truffert Deitch stopped that.
When was that?
Everton had that deal arranged, like the 3rd of January before. And what was really mad was they knew that they were binning him.
25 or 26?
When he was the manager.
Well, and
then we played Bournemouth and got beat 1-0.
Yeah.
And then obviously he was chased. And it was, just 3 weeks too long to see it.
Because
CFG's
that is a really good example of a dysfunctional business, isn't it? Which is letting a single individual have a final say on something which a team of people think is a good idea.
I give you.
And I
raise you, Luca Dean.
Absolutely. No, these are mistakes of the past, right? Luca Dean, this manager doesn't like him, he moves him on. Half the goddamn medical team go at the, and so on and so forth.
Well, Luca Dean got sold on the Thursday and Rafa Benitez got sacked on the Saturday. And every man and his dog
knew it was
everywhere
happening.
knew he was getting sacked.
Yeah.
So the Everton should have said, we're not selling anyone till the end of the month.
And that's where you get accountability, leadership, all those things have to come to the fore, right? And that's where you would fall back on process.
Yeah.
So we put a new process in last summer. It's a bit premature to change it now.
True Blue Aussie says, "Hi legends, hello mate. Says hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to be over for 3 matches. I'm wondering what's the best way to try and get tickets for the pre-season against Lille, Palace, and United. We're going to have to be a member first to have any chance. I don't know how easy
Club website
that's going to be,
isn't it?
But be the club website and go from there." That's all I can offer, mate. I don't really know what the tickets are going to be like, but I imagine it's going to be difficult. But if you're a member, it gives yourself a chance, doesn't
You
it?
certainly should be able to get the Lille game as a member, I would have thought, wouldn't you?
I'd imagine so. It's not going to be like the Roma game last season, I don't think.
And then the actual Premier League games.
You mean Man U will be tough, won't it?
Yeah, it'd be really
and
hard.
Palace, I suppose, because it's the Saturday 3:00 first one of the season.
First one will
we'll
be
have
sell out.
players in. It's going to sell out, but see. Connor says, afternoon, since it's an Ask You Anything, do you prefer a Chinese takeaway or an Indian takeaway? What would you eat? What would you get to eat for your choice?
This was the no-brainer.
Go-to
This was the banker.
for like a Chinese meal?
Oh, well, if we're doing the takeaway, I'll just do both, right?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
But takeaway for both, my go-to would be sweet and sour
Okay.
or Szechuan type stuff because I like spicy type stuff. And then on the Indian side, it'd be a jalfrezi.
Nice.
Yeah.
Both nice.
Yeah.
I do. I'm quite partial to a little bit of chicken Szechuan, I won't lie. What about you, Pet? I know you're not eating them at the moment, but if you were...
What do you eat?
No, I know you eat, but what I mean is you're not like having a lot of takeaways. But what would be your go-to for a Chinese meal and an Indian meal?
Chinese, it's chili beef.
Shredded.
That's on my list as well.
Beef.
Yeah, good one.
Fried rice.
That's a good one, yeah.
And Chinese. Indian. I normally have a. I can't think of the word.
Where you've got a bit of a few things, yeah.
Like a mixed grill.
Yeah, mixed grill. Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Nice.
And I can't avoid the food kebab as a starter. So.
Indian food for me would probably be...
You get a lot of Greek at the moment.
Yeah, you're on your Greek, you're on your Greek, aren't you?
Lovely, they're cheap, you get loads.
A couple of Greeks by us, which are nice, mate. Take a drive out.
Indian. Jalfrezi. I am partial to a jalfrezi, I must admit.
Good Balti's nice.
Balti's nice as well, yeah. Chicken Balti's nice. I used to get, I haven't had an Indian takeaway for ages, but I used to get...
Today would be a good day to really...
You can piss off. It made me lose my train of thought. The rice, what's it called?
Which is the kind of rice, you mean?
It's just a meal. It's mainly rice, but I used to get a vindaloo sauce to come on top.
Oh, I see, right.
Forgot meat.
Yeah,
it's got the chicken and rice.
Yeah.
Come back to me. And then a Chinese, I do like a Szechuan. I also like Singapore vermicelli as well. Singapore vermicelli is nice. The noodles.
So my go-to would be hot and sour soup for starts.
Hot and sour
and
soup.
ribs.
I'm more of a, even though I've had hot and sour soup a few times, but I'm more of a chicken and sweet corn soup soup. Yeah,
right.
With a couple of prawn crackers. I don't really like prawn crackers, but a little bit with a chicken and sweet corn soup's quite nice.
I wonder what Jordan has when he gets his takeaway from Grappenhall. Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah. Chinese we go to in Grappenhall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sizzling beef.
Yeah, that's another good one.
New Zealand, Everton.
Good one. New Zealand, NZ.
Lamb Rogan Josh says, let's be
I like that and all.
B. Ham says, do you get many Indian mixed grill places in Liverpool? There's loads in the West Midlands, don't know.
Most menus have a version.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Salt and pepper chicken, fried rice, says King Alf.
That's good.
Indian vindaloo. Chinese salt and pepper chicken. Loads like salt and... I mean, I do like salt and pepper
See, I'm
chicken.
not really into curries per se. So your Vindaloo approach and more the spicy side.
Yeah. No, Vindaloo. Like I say, I have that as a... Biryani, thank you. Fucking hell.
There you go.
Bloody hell.
Chicken biryani, yeah.
Chicken biryani. Tandoori chicken biryani, so it's cooked first and then get the Vindaloo sauce over the top of it, so you're getting that heat as well from the sauce. That's nice. And a bit of,
You
bit
get
of
all
naan
excited
bread.
now.
Bit of naan
Which bread?
Just plain naan. I'm not really like a...
Pashwari.
Yeah, I'm not a Pashwari. I'm more of a boring. I used to have chicken pathia years and years ago. That used to be me go-to, but I went off it. But yeah. Cy Harris has a lamb boner, a keema naan, 2 poppadoms and a pickle tray.
Yeah.
My word, we'll have a
More
look.
Indians by where I live than Chinese, so that maybe is a
Is
thing.
there, yeah?
I think there's
We've gone the same one forever.
currently 3 Indians, and there's another one opening when I walked past the other day, and there's only 1 Chinese. So there you go.
Interesting.
Would suggest Indian is the most popular. Or versions of Indian, Bangladeshi and stuff.
I don't know football, FC says. As an Aussie, we eat a lot of different foods from around the world. Every time I hear English people talk about food, it's only Chinese or Indian. Do you go out and eat like a Vietnamese, a Korean, or other
Lebanese,
types?
Lebanese restaurants in my village as well. Which
Yeah, I
is
think
very
it-
popular.
I mean, you just hear Ped talking about a Greek.
Greek and Turkish.
Turkish,
Turkish,
I
yeah.
love Turkish breakfast. It's
Means
fab.
a relief.
Yeah.
Recently
Couple
was
of
nice
Turkish
and
restaurants,
stuff, yeah. Yeah, whatever takes your fancy, innit?
All of the above.
Italian,
Japanese,
you know.
like sushi.
Better really go out for an English though.
Never
no.
in English.
No.
Never.
Very really go.
Not English.
Like a
for an
good
English?
like a good steak though. Look, good slug of beef goes.
Yeah, but even that last time I went out on that steak, I went to like a Brazilian place.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Yeah,
So it's not an you know,
the Brazilian buffets are good.
Brazilian.
strength and honour as a Greek or Italian.
Yeah,
Thai green curry, says James Graham. I had a little spell for about a month of liking Thai green curry, and then I went off it. And I couldn't have one now. The thought of it makes me go, oh, no. Which is
I remember
mad.
in where was I? I think it was Bangkok, and no, it wasn't. It was in Phuket, and I'd ordered what I always order, which is a hot and sour soupy type thing as a starter, and the Thai have that as the end, right?
Okay.
So I'm sitting there thinking, "Where's my bloody soup? Where's my bloody soup?" Where's my sort of thing. Ate all the other food, then the soup.
Then the soup came.
It could have blown a mountain apart. It was that hot.
Spicy.
Garden. So these foods in their host countries, because I used to have loads of boys and girls working for me in India when I was doing stuff, and so I go to India 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
It was much better there.
Yeah, they don't. It's not the same as ours, is it?
No, this is English Chinese or English Indian and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So.
Sai says, not sure if you've done pizza, but what's your go-to topping?
Chilies.
Yeah, look at. Yeah. I'm funny with pizza. I mean, I do eat some pizza.
We've got a Rudy's in the village and they do
But
nice pizza.
do they? Yeah.
But they're very bespoke. You can just ask for what you want.
I
That's
like.
what you get.
I'll be honest. I like tuna and sweet corn.
Do you?
Yeah. I love tuna though.
You're a tuna fan, are you? High protein, man.
Yeah, it is very good for you. Very good for you as well.
Wheels in there as well. Hello, Fresh, where are you? You could have been here now.
Could have been here. Yeah. Continental meals available at Aldi. Different cuisine every night, says Celtic Grape. Ian says going for an English from goodness gracious.
Oh,
It still cracks me up.
fabulous sketch, that. Absolutely fabulous sketch.
At New Zealand, Everton fan says Bhutanese, Momo, dumplings. He's obviously like that. And I don't know football, says there's only in Australia. There's only British pubs in Australia. Never seen a British restaurant. I know, but is anyone really going to want to and won't go out and eat an English in Australia?
On a Sunday.
What would it be? Like a roast dinner?
Yeah, it'd be a roast dinner, wouldn't it? Roast beef.
Could do that. Ped, this is from Emma.
Cooling mats.
Yeah, I've got a cooler mat for the dog just ate
go
it,
near
won't
it.
go near it.
Paddling pool.
Yeah.
Get a pool. Guide them for a £5 in home and bargain.
Yeah.
Free advertising.
Hose the dog down with cold water.
Like you can get
Little jacket
cooling
things.
collars,
Yeah.
cooling things just to put on them. Put them in a dark room.
Yeah.
Stupid though, aren't they? Like Tessie come in the garden with me yesterday. I'm like sat there and she's like that. Sat by me like, go in. like go inside, you know, like dragging her inside. She'd run back out. Eventually, she went and got in the shade and was laying on the grass, and she was fine.
What's your house like? Do you have a cool room? Because of the way the sun is and all that?
Because the kitchen's normally quite cool, the dining room, but the last couple of days it hasn't. It's not as hot as everywhere else, but it's still where like a lot of other times when we have like nice, like hot weather, you go in there and it's cool, so it's fine. But the last few days,
Our front room must be 5 to 10 degrees cooler.
It's mad, isn't
A
it?
bit like what he said. You could shut all the plantation blindy things and the trees out that way.
Yeah,
so it doesn't get
so
dark.
it's not getting
and
us,
yet the bedroom that's above it is like a sauna. So that, you know, proves the point, I suppose.
Mad. It's mad.
Yeah.
Just soak your dog as well. Just soak it
Yeah.
with water.
Yeah.
Get it covered.
Yeah. That'll cool them down. Cool them down. Right.
Give him a haircut.
Yeah, just get the shears out. Go full, like you're shearing sheep.
Yeah.
See if it helps them. We're going because it is getting hotter.
It's
and
very
hotter.
sticky. Yeah.
My word, we'll have a look. Of course we'll have a look.
Take it easy. Have a lovely weekend. Watch the right back show if you haven't watched that. That's available on YouTube. Go and have a little look at that. Let me know in the comments who would be your first choice and your second choice, or any that we haven't put there. You put in who you'd like to see Everton bring in. Have a lovely weekend. Stay safe. Get your sun cream on. Drink plenty of water. And hopefully next week
before the
things will pick
football
up.
leaves you.
Who knows?
Well, the weather will pick
The
up.
weather's going to
in
be
the right direction.
It's going to be cooler, so it'll be easier for us to do our shows and for you to watch. Take it easy. Have a great weekend. See you later.
Take care,
Bye.
everyone.